Let's have a chill day in Jerusalem, that's it.
As you saw, these videos were shot in Silwan, an Arab neighborhood in East Jerusalem. Here, every Friday, after the noon prayers, there are riots by the Palestinian population against the Israeli forces. Sometimes the situation is tense and dangerous, as you saw in the first part of the video, but many other times the riots are nothing more than groups of young Palestinians, or kids, with their face covered, who throw some rocks and disperse after the first tear gas is shot, or go home if no soldier comes. Here, some months ago, I started collecting conflict images for an Israeli photo agency, so I went there every Friday with my gas mask, helmet and camera. But soon I realized that what really interested me wasn't the Palestinian throwing a rock, or the soldier shooting tear gas or grenades, which are overseen, but an element that often we do not see, and that's kept out of the frame: the photographer. So to some extent, for personal interest and for professional bias, since I studied anthropology at college, I started observing us photographers as a group with its own dynamics, as well as the individuals. I started questioning our role in these situations, how our presence can influence the events we witness, and how the process of conflict image production works. This photo is an example of what the media market requires from us. It's dramatic, there's smoke, fire, this challenging stance, angry look towards a possible enemy. This is what we have to create if we want to sell. On the other hand, though this pushes many photojournalists to seek and create this drama, even when the situation lacks it. This project is an attempt to play with the creation and destruction of drama, breaking the taboo of the invisible photographer, and including him in the frame, therefore showing how the massive attendance by the media makes the conflict become a show in which the photographer is an actor and has his own role. These are some Israeli soldiers during the riots. And again, creation and destruction of drama, including the photographer, and showing the irony of the situation. A Palestinian boy using a slingshot behind a garbage disposal, and let's include the photographer. These are Palestinian boys that made a roadblock out of lit materials, which offers some Hollywood-style effects that work quite nicely for the cameras. Let me point out that this equipment has an influence on the subjects they depict. They don't pass unnoticed. Just think of a simple example on a smaller scale. If you point a tiny camera towards somebody, what does he do? Most likely he's going to smile or do something. Now imagine this enlarged with a group of photographers that show up with helmets, gas masks, at least 2 big cameras each, and they come there to take photos of what you do. You're not going to sit rolling your fingers. This is another scene that we like because it symbolically includes the whole concept of the conflict. This is when somebody burns a flag to send a message, and there's no better way than doing it in front of the camera. In fact, there are no soldiers in front of them, there's me. Photographer and rioter doing their job. These photojournalists are greeting on the scene. I tried to study the group's dynamics. I was very curious, and I had the privilege of being both part of the group, as a photographer, and a stranger, as a new photographer. So I could observe this group in which there are actual hierarchies, and repeating patterns that are very interesting on the human level. This is an Israeli soldier trying to keep photographers away. This photojournalist is holding an onion in front of his nose because it cancels the tear gas effects. His gas mask is broken. An exhausted photographer takes a break on a couch during a riot. And again, creation of drama, tension in the image, with a soldier that does nothing more than watching the scene, which, I repeat, is often ironic. I'll conclude with this image, which I think summarizes the concept of this project. Here you see a Muslim Palestinian photojournalist who, before the riots, joins the noon prayers, putting his cameras and mask aside. This is to say that behind our cameras there are people that are not invisible, that take part in the events that they photograph and have their role. With this project I have two aims. The first one is to give it visibility, to create some sort of sensibilization of the public that needs to develop a critical analysis of the images we see every day to understand how they're produced, and also to push some photographers to think more about the implications that our presence has on these situations. The second aim is to develop this project and see if the situation is similar to other conflict areas like Pakistan, Afghanistan, or Arab countries in which there are revolutions. I hope you found this interesting. Thank you for your attention.